Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening. This is Brian Killo. I work for NASA and I lead the SEO Systems Engineering Office. So this is the SEO report for the WGISS-50 meeting. I'd like to bring you up to date on a few of the tasks that we've been working so that you know what we're doing technically and how it relates to the WGISS activities. We've been supporting a number of the SDGs, and most of that is through our Open Data Cube algorithms, working on water, urbanization, and land degradation. We have an Amazon sandbox that is under development. The intent there is that this would be on the Amazon cloud and it would connect to the new Landsat archive and also the Sentinel-2 global archive that is all planned to be on Amazon West. We are hoping for an October 2020 release, and all of this activity depends on that release. The African Regional Data Cube continues to be transitioned to Digital Earth Africa. We've been participating in the Technical Advisory Committee meetings as well. Also working with CSIRO. I'm sure that throughout this meeting you're going to hear more about the Earth Analytics Interoperability Lab. I've been working that with Rob Woodcock, and that's all to support data and algorithm testing for a number of initiatives, possibly within CEOS. On the Cove tool, we continue to work on some new revisions and new features like a coverage and revision performance tool and a coincident observation tool. Some of those are already being implemented, but we're just working on bits and pieces and issues to resolve the output. And then finally, just to bring to your attention some of the outreach, we're participating in IGARS 2020. It's a virtual conference. It's going to happen next week. We have a session in there on Open Data Cube with 8 papers. So if you're interested in going there, I think the fee is roughly $10 if you just want to attend and see papers and presentations. And then broadly, our CEOS social media continues to grow. Lots of Twitter, Facebook, and website visits. So it's a very thriving organization. Happy that we're all part of it. Some more details on the Open Data Cube. We're working to take the Open Data Cube and connect it to the Open Source Geospatial Foundation. So that is in the process. I believe it actually may be done, and we're now an official project within OSGeo. I mentioned on the previous chart about the Amazon prototype. We're also doing a Google Cloud prototype. We have installed Open Data Cube on Google Cloud, and we have connected it to Earth Engine data sets. I've been very impressed with what has been able to be accomplished there. It's working very well. And for those of you that are familiar with Earth Engine, the number of data sets that are there and the global extent of that data is quite impressive. We've also been advancing a number of Jupyter notebooks. I mentioned those before, and we're hoping that these will all also integrate well with the training and the activities in Digital Earth Africa. We had a meeting on August 19th with the first discussion about Digital Earth Americas. So we're exploring some steps there with how to move forward, and a lot of discussions with a lot of stakeholders that are happening there. So that also will be potentially the next activity that's fairly broad for the Open Data Cube community. Digital Earth Pacific is another one that we've been contacted about. So the SPC, which is a Pacific Islands group, contacted us about this idea, and they're thinking about the potential for Vanuatu as the first prototype. So we're looking at that activity too. And then finally, we are going to move forward with a user forum. For those of you that are familiar with the Sentinel Hub, we're going to try to do something very similar using the same framework and platform that they're using for Sentinel Hub. And the intent there is, with our growing number of ODC users around the world, this will give a focused opportunity for a user forum where people can interact and ask questions and we can respond. A few updates on data flows, and this is something that I've always reported to you recently in the past couple meetings, because we're working towards a goal of having Landsat, Sentinel-1, Sentinel-2, and ALOS data in analysis-ready data format, preferably COG, and preferably with stacked metadata, And if we can have this globally in cloud frameworks, it's really going to help a large number of these global projects and provide some real efficient solutions. So just a few updates on these. With Landsat, everyone knows the Collection 2 data is coming soon on Amazon West, and as you can see, I've got my fingers crossed and hoping that that happens really soon. On Sentinel-2, the global data has been available since December 2018, but there's some past data back into 2016. We've been working with Amazon and Synergize to process some of that old data. That's being brought up to date. Element 84, which is a US company, is converting it to COG format and pushing that also to Amazon West along with Landsat. So in the end, what we're going to have is on the AWS Frankfurt hub, that's going to have the original data, and then the global COG format data, which will be a separate holding, will be on Amazon West along with Landsat. So it's going to be quite impressive to have all this data together on the same cloud framework and in these COG and stack metadata formats. And then finally on Sentinel-1, I'm working with Digital Earth Africa, co-funding an initiative with Synergize, which is a company in Europe, to develop a Sentinel-1 DataCube pipeline. And we are working such that that data is going to be Card4L compliant, meet all the CIOS ARD specifications. It's going to be COG format, have stack metadata. Now, again, this is only for backscatter intensity data cubes. The intent here is to keep it rather simple. This doesn't use any other form of that Sentinel-1 data, but it'll allow us to generate Sentinel-1 data cubes anywhere in the globe. And so we're planning to use that for prototype cubes. And based on demand and the resources, it's likely we can use this tool to support other projects around the world that may come to us and desire Sentinel-1 data cubes in Card4L format. So we'll just have to see how all that goes and how our resources might allow that if there are efficiencies. And so that's all I have. Thank you for the presentation.